good afternoon, and a wonderful 44th day of our retreat, our Corona confinement. Before I forget, I seem to forget every day. I just wanted to remind you that if you're watching this on the YouTube version, you will see a little sign and a little shield in the lower corner that you can use to subscribe. Also, please always feel free to share and to like, because it makes me feel good to know that what I'm doing has value for you. So, I am going to begin today with an amusing story. We've talked before about karma. And karma kind of is a one-word version of the symbol for the law of cause and effect. So whatever we send out comes back. And as I've said many times, our purpose for being here is to learn. Well, sometimes karma takes a long time to manifest. And that's why a lot of times it's hard to believe that there's anything to it. You know, we can make a mistake today and not have the after effects of that mistake come back for a long time. Well, you see, the further along you get on your spiritual path, the quicker that karma comes around, and it makes you very aware. So, funny story about what happened yesterday. I had posted, and you know, it was just so funny. I had to post it, and I didn't mean anything mean by it, and I posted it because I could surely relate. And it was a picture of a newscaster in his little suit and his headset on, and he was doing his interview with another newscaster, you know, in a split screen. And when the screen went straight to him and it wasn't split, there he was in his bedroom, and there on his bed was a huge pile of laundry. Well, I thought it was cute, and I thought it was amusing, and at the same time probably kind of embarrassing for the poor guy. Well, wouldn't you know, you weren't aware of this, but yesterday when I was doing the video, you probably noticed, but you didn't notice I knew. My lipstick was very crooked. Don't go back and look, okay? I'll admit it was crooked. And through the whole time that I was talking to you guys, I kept thinking about that crooked lipstick. That's what I like to call instant karma. I posted something embarrassing about someone else and immediately embarrassed myself. So it's one of those things we want to keep an eye on. Sometimes maybe if we say, you know, we're embarrassed or something happens and we go, wow, well, why did that happen? We may find that if we look back a little bit, we'll see we probably instigated it ourselves. So I just thought that was a fun tidbit. Today we are talking about it's one of the 12 powers, and it is actually the faculty called power. Now you think about power, like the power company, it's kind of like that. But you know, like all the powers, every one of these, and I'll do a whole list of these when I'm done going through the powers, has two sides. It has the positive side and the negative side. Power, when it is expressed through our spiritual consciousness, or power which can be negative when it comes through the human part. I like to think about I never saw, I don't know if there's another version. I think The Sorcerer's Apprentice is just a piece of music. Not just, gosh, a piece of music. But the story, which Disney did, was of Mickey Mouse being the sorcerer's apprentice, and he's cleaning up the sorcerer's laboratory, or whatever you want to call it, and he picks up the sorcerer's wand, And then he doesn't know what he's doing, and he's waving it around, and all kinds of havoc is breaking out, and the broom starts dancing, and everything gets crazy. Well, you know what? Sometimes with our own power, we are like that sorcerer's apprentice. We're throwing stuff around like crazy, and we don't even know what we're doing. I have a very good book. The book is called Your Word is Your Wand. It's actually a book filled with affirmations, which hopefully we'll talk about before we're done today. The power center for the spiritual faculty, or power that we call power, is the throat. And it is the throat because it is where we empower our thoughts, turning them into words and putting the vibration on them as they go through our voice box and go into the universe. Everything is energy. So every one of our words carries energy, and it can be a positive energy or it can be a negative energy depending on what we put on it. Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, said that every word makes an imprint on the astral ethers. Wow, that's kind of like woo woo woo, but it's beautiful. It means that every word we speak, every image that we give out makes an imprint. Think about a piece of Play-Doh. We push it, it makes an imprint. Or if you've ever watched, like when you're taping a song or something, and you can watch your little volume button go up and down. Those are like the words that we send out. They have a vibration on them. So, what does that have to do with making it with metaphysics? Boy, if we don't realize now, if we haven't been able to realize the power of our words, this would be a good time to start thinking about it. Sometimes we have no idea. We say something and we don't even think about what the effect of the words we say will have on another person. I tend to, you probably know this if you know me well at all, to know that I tend to be silly. And I make these crazy thoughts and jokes, and like I tell the people who don't understand my jokes, some jokes you just do for yourself. But due to the power of the word, we can say something that we think is very light, and to someone else could be insulting, it could be painful, it could be hurtful, it could be offensive. Remember I told you the story the other day about my once salty vocabulary and how it turned on a dime when a woman pointed out to me that when I spoke like that, it took away my intelligence. Talk about being changed in the twinkling of an eye. You know what? I never went back into that store because I was too embarrassed. To this day, I would love to have the opportunity, and maybe it was many, many years ago, and she was no spring chicken then, so she's probably on the other side now. So if she's listening to me today, thank you so much for having the courage to speak words of truth to me with love that changed my life for the better. One of the things we did in seminary is we studied the 12 steps, the AA program. Unity attracts a lot of people from self-help programs like AA because our spirituality is broad. So we don't say you've got to be in this church or that church or that church. Whereas we do have our own churches, we don't say that you must be in our church for our teachings to help you. We just don't do that. So you may be familiar with the 12 powers. If you're not, it wouldn't hurt to learn. We have a prosperity program in Unity called the 12 four T's of prosperity: tithing, time, treasure, and talent. But it's based on the 12 powers. And the first The first step of the 12-step program says, I admit I am powerless in this situation. I cannot help myself. I need help from my higher source. How can we say we're powerful beings and at the same time say we're powerless? It's like this. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. So whereas ultimately, spiritually, we are powerful when we're being our very human self, which I do it, we are powerless. We've given up our spiritual power to the power of ego. So if we look at power on two levels, the first one is the worldly level, the second is the spiritual level. That's where we want to operate from. The spiritual, the worldly use of power works for personal power and money and pleasure, very, very worldly things. When we want to express true power, we lift it up to spiritual power. We are aligned with a higher good. So we are aligned with, we've talked about before, and we'll talk again and again about the false gods from my book, Rise of the False Gods. Mammon, which is money and materialism, and Baal, which is ego and carnality. Now look, there's nothing wrong with money. I frankly enjoy it. But I don't put it above other good. I don't put it above other people. I don't put it above God for sure, because God is our source and our job is our channel, okay? So keep that in mind. If you're currently out of work and you're not sure where your next money is coming from, remember God is your source and God has unlimited channels. So if you lost this job, if you keep your power aligned with spirit, you will draw a new and better job. You will also draw the means to provide for yourself between jobs. You know what they say, if you don't have a job, your job is finding a job. And that job may be out of the box. It may not. You have the powers. I'm not going off track. I'm really talking about power still. You have the power. And you know what? Start thinking about what you love to do. You have the power to do that. Start thinking about how what you love to do can bless somebody else, how you can get that out there. Learn to barter. Learn to trade. Learn to give. Go through your stuff. Give stuff away. That puts the law of circulation into motion. Okay, off that one. The quality of the experience we have with our spiritual faculty of power is based on our consciousness. So, if we use this wonderful power of the spoken word and we use it to gripe and to complain or to gossip or to express anger over, to people, that's not a very good use. That's a human use of a spiritual power. We want to take that and turn it around so that we use this spiritual power in spiritual ways to affirm positive things. We have in unity, we call it the Christ, the spirit of divinity within us, which is our best part, which is our part that is that God piece, and that's which makes us a child of God. That's the part we want to have in charge of our power. Okay, so you got the power, align it with all that is good, and you'll be off and running. So who's driving? I remember a funny story. It was about a guy who was driving down the street with a friend, and they saw a hitchhiker. And the friend said, "Why didn't you stop and pick up the hitchhiker? He needed a ride." And the driver said, "Oh, no, I've done that before. That's the devil. You let him in and give him a ride, and next thing you know, he wants to drive." Well, think about the devil this way. If you spell the word devil backwards, you have lived. So if you're living backwards, you're not going forward. Just keep that thought. Words are sound capsules for ideas, and they are filled with power. You need to take a vitamin, and inside of that capsule are all kinds of things that are going to make you stronger, healthier, filled with energy. That's what our words are like. And we want to make sure we keep our words powerful, and we can share them with others, and we can inspire them instead of dragging them down. Don't be that person where your friend really doesn't want to talk to you because every time you talk to them, you're going, oh my God, you wouldn't believe. You know, we have a hard enough time keeping ourselves up. We don't need anybody else dragging us down. In order to put a positive charge on our words, we want to spend more time in peace, in presence, prayer and meditation, whatever that looks like to you. Be alone a little bit. If you're in a house with a bunch of people, I don't care if one of the best places to go, get in the shower. That shower runs, you can't hear what's going on out there, and you can just kind of talk to God however you would talk to a best friend. In the gospel, in the Bible, Jesus says to the apostles, go to every nation and preach the gospel. Well, if you're not familiar with what the word gospel means, it means good news. Good news. What if everywhere you went, you shared good news? There's good news sometimes in the worst of days. If we look for the good, if we speak the good, if we take our spiritual faculty of power and align it with love, and even when we have to speak an uncomfortable truth, if we speak it from our heart with love, it will be received and have the power to bless others and to bless yourself. And the other person's going to think you are so smart. Oops, ego speaking, sorry about that. My mother used to say a very powerful, did you ever notice how many times I say my mother said? I wonder if my kids will ever say that about me when I'm gone. I don't know. But my mother said, always keep your words soft and sweet, because you never know when you're going to have to eat them. You ever have to eat your words? I have. I hate to admit it, but I have. So I want to go back quickly to Your Word is Your Wand. It's a good book if you can find it. It's very old, like me. No, I'm not old. I'm not old. I'm mature. Well, somewhat. Anyway, this is a book of affirmations. And you can write your own, okay? And if you need any help writing an affirmation, I invite you to put a comment in asking me to make up to help you create an affirmation. I invite you to email me, whatever you want to do, and I will be more than happy to help you to develop an affirmation, because affirmations are positive prayers. They, in spite of a negative situation, it looks at the positive aspect. When I used to work for Silent Unity Prayer Ministry, and I would pray with people during the dark night of the soul hours from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., and people would call me and they would ask me to pray that their abusive, addicted boyfriend or girlfriend or mate come back. Or they would pray that they would call, I need a prosperity blessing. Well, we could all use a prosperity blessing, and some more than others. But if we say, I need, instead of thank you, we're less likely to attract the good that we want. How's that for power in a word? So how did I turn those negative prayer requests into positive action? I would say things like, dear one, we know that right now that the Holy Spirit of God is working through you and giving you the divine ideas to attract abundance in every way. You are strong, you are powerful, you are created, and right now, abundance is on your way. You see, the abundance comes in the form of ideas, not a check in the mail. Sometimes it comes as a check in the mail. But I think usually it comes as a check in the mail after you have done a lot of work you didn't even think about, and then bingo, there it is. And for that person who wanted me to pray for, those many people who wanted me to pray for the abuser in their life to come back, you know, I would pray with them knowing and giving thanks that they are a divine, radiating center of love, mighty to attract their good. And the beauty of the soul that they are shines forth, and a magnetic field draws all the love they could ever want. Those prayers work. The affirmations are like those prayers. Let me just share a couple with you. Divine ideas never conflict. Ooh, that's something to think about. Christopher Columbus followed a hunch. The kingdom of heaven is the realm of perfect ideas. My endless good now comes to me in endless ways. How about one of my favorites? I might have even done it in one of my videos. The sweet Holy Spirit of God now sweeps across the face of planet Earth, taking with it any form of the coronavirus. It is gone. We are free, and the Holy Spirit now sweeps in health, well-being, joy, and prosperity for all the people, all the creatures, and all of creation itself. Think on those things. Keep your words soft and sweet, and always make your prayers in gratitude. Thanks so much for watching. I'm so happy. If you tuned in late, in just a minute you can go back and watch from the beginning. And God bless you. Have a bright, beautiful, better than average day. Bye-bye.